It's the year 2047. You open your eyes. You're standing outside a metal dome on the surface of Mars. The sky above you is not blue. It's a pale, dusty orange, like the world is permanently on fire. The temperature? -60 degrees Celsius, cold enough to freeze your blood in seconds. You look down at your suit. One crack, one tiny crack in your helmet, and you're dead before you hit the ground. This is Mars. This is the planet Elon Musk wants to turn into humanity's second home. But here's the question nobody is asking loudly enough. Are we actually ready for this? Or are we walking into the most dangerous experiment in human history? Let's start with the obvious question. Why Mars? Out of every planet, every moon, every rock floating in our solar system, why are we obsessed with this one? Because Mars is the closest thing to Earth we have ever found. Its day is 24 hours and 37 minutes, almost identical to ours. It has seasons, just like Earth. It has polar ice caps. Ancient river valleys carved into its surface prove it once had liquid water flowing across it billions of years ago. No other planet in our solar system comes close. If humanity is ever going to become a multiplanetary species, Mars is the only realistic first step. But realistic does not mean easy, and what we are about to discover makes easy look like a fantasy. Before you even set foot on Mars, the journey itself could kill you. Depending on where Earth and Mars are in their orbits, the distance between us ranges from 54 million to 401 million kilometers. The fastest rocket ever built would take between 7 and 9 months to cross that distance. 9 months floating in zero gravity. 9 months with no fresh air, no sunlight, no room to move. 9 months of cosmic radiation bombarding your body every single day. Radiation that has no atmosphere to stop it. NASA's own studies from the International Space Station show that after just 6 months in space, astronauts lose up to 20% of their muscle mass. Their bones weaken. Their eyesight deteriorates, sometimes permanently. And here is the part that should terrify you. If something goes wrong on that journey, there is no turning back. No rescue mission, no emergency landing. You are completely alone between two worlds, and you haven't even landed yet. You survive the journey. Your spacecraft enters Mars orbit. You descend through the atmosphere, and the moment you land, Mars tries to kill you again. The atmosphere on Mars is 95% carbon dioxide. The oxygen level, less than 0.2%. On Earth, we breathe 21% oxygen. On Mars, there is essentially none. You cannot take a single breath on Mars without a pressurized suit and oxygen supply. Not one. And it gets worse. The atmospheric pressure on Mars is less than 1% of Earth's. Even if you somehow had pure oxygen to breathe, your lungs physically could not pull it in. The air is too thin. Your chest would collapse trying. NASA is working on a solution. A device called MOXIE, currently aboard the Perseverance rover, can convert carbon dioxide into small amounts of oxygen. In lab tests, it works. It produces oxygen successfully. But here is the scale problem. To support just 1,000 people living on Mars, you would need MOXIE scaled up by a factor of thousands. The energy required would be enormous. The technology at that scale does not exist yet. We are decades away from solving this, at minimum. Every single day on Earth, you are protected by two invisible shields. The first is our thick atmosphere, absorbing and deflecting dangerous radiation from space. The second is Earth's magnetic field, a planet-wide force field generated by our molten iron core, deflecting solar winds and cosmic rays away from the surface. Mars has lost both of these. Billions of years ago, Mars had a magnetic field. Then its core cooled and died. The magnetic field disappeared, and without it, solar winds slowly stripped away the Martian atmosphere over millions of years. Today, Mars is completely naked against the full force of the universe. Cosmic rays, solar particle events, high-energy radiation streams that tear through human DNA, causing cancer, neurological damage, organ failure over time. Scientists have calculated that a person living on Mars would absorb radiation doses 700 times higher than living on Earth every single year. The only real solution? You cannot live on the surface. You have to go underground. Dig into the Martian rock. Live beneath meters of soil that can absorb the radiation for you, which means before any human arrives, robots have to excavate and build an entire underground city alone on another planet. Now you are underground, safe from radiation, breathing recycled oxygen. You are hungry. Every single calorie a Mars colony needs has to come from somewhere, and the options are brutal. Option 1. Ship food from Earth. At current rocket technology, that costs approximately $54,000 per kilogram. A single meal for one person would cost more than most people earn in a year. Option 2. Grow food on Mars. Scientists have tested growing crops in Martian soil simulant in labs on Earth. Potatoes and radishes have shown some promise, but Martian soil is full of toxic perchlorates, chemicals that are poisonous to humans and deadly to most plants without extensive treatment first. As for water, Mars does have ice. Significant reserves are locked in the polar ice caps and buried just below the surface in certain regions. Extracting it, purifying it, recycling every single drop so nothing is wasted. Theoretically possible, but it requires an entire industrial infrastructure to be built and running perfectly before the first human being steps off the ship. We have talked about the physical dangers. Now let's talk about the one nobody discusses enough, the human mind. Picture your life on Mars. You wake up inside a sealed metal habitat. The walls are close. The ceiling is low. Outside the window, the same red, rocky landscape. Every single day, unchanging, forever. You cannot go for a walk without spending 30 minutes putting on a pressurized suit. You cannot feel sunlight on your skin. You cannot smell rain or hear wind through trees. The same small group of people around you, every meal, every conversation, every conflict, for years with no escape. And Earth? Earth is a tiny blue dot, barely visible in the Martian sky, so far away that even a radio message takes up to 20 minutes to arrive. A phone call home is a 40-minute round-trip conversation. If something goes wrong, psychologically, medically, emotionally, nobody is coming. The next supply ship is months away. Scientists have studied crews at isolated Antarctic research stations, the closest environment on Earth to what Mars would feel like. What they found is alarming. Severe depression, intense interpersonal conflict, cognitive decline, breakdown of group dynamics within months. Some researchers now believe the psychological challenge of Mars colonization may be harder to solve than any of the technical ones. So here is the honest answer, the one the headlines don't give you. Right now, no. With today's technology, today's medicine, today's understanding of the human body and mind, we cannot safely colonize Mars. But that is not where the story ends. Humans have always done the impossible. We learned to fly. We split the atom. We walked on the moon with computers less powerful than the phone in your pocket. SpaceX's Starship, the most powerful rocket ever built, is designed specifically for Mars. NASA's Artemis program is rebuilding humanity's deep space capabilities. Private companies are investing hundreds of billions of dollars into solving every single one of these challenges. Most serious scientists now believe a first crewed Mars landing is achievable between 2035 and 2040. A permanent, self-sustaining colony? That is a conversation for 2060 to 2080 at the earliest. Mars will not be comfortable. Mars will not be safe. Mars will demand everything from the humans brave enough or crazy enough enough to go. But if our species is going to survive beyond this one fragile planet, the red planet is not just an option, it is the only option. So I want to ask you something, and I want you to actually think about it before you answer. If you were given the chance to go to Mars, knowing you might never see Earth again, would you go? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. If this video made you think, hit subscribe. Every week we cover space, science, and the future of humanity in a way that actually makes sense. See you in the next one.